Hello, welcome to the Golf Swing Weekly Fix. Mark Crossfield here. We've got lots of swings coming at you from the app. We've also got question of the week. It's a bit of a windy, blustery day, so we're indoors. Let's get stuck in. So first swing here, not the best of angles, but we definitely see a downswing which appears to be moving quite a long way left. So the path of the club, from my angle that I can see, is moving a long way left. So what people will call out to in. You look set up like you're going to hit a big fade as well, like you're fighting that big left to right swing. What I see at impact, which I see a lot with golfers who tend to slice the ball quite hard, quite level hips. So we see quite a level hip rotation, so quite a lot of rotation and very level with your hips. What I would like to see you work on is trying to get your hips moving more target bound, so more of a sliding into the ball with less rotation, and certainly trying to get your left pocket up a little higher to just try and move this path of this club a little bit more out to the right to help you hit maybe through the ball a little stronger. Let's show you what I mean. It's a common fault I see there with people trying to hit the ball very level hipped and heavily rotated, always tending to bring the club more what people call over the top, then often raising handles to hit the ball, which gives this kind of horrible strike impact conditions to the left, handle up, toe down, those kind of things. And we tend to see pulls and cuts off to the right with it. So look, I simply want you to try and hit a few shots. We need to try and take all this rotation that you've got in there down to what you will feel a minimum and turn it more into a sliding forwards, so target bound action, while at the same time trying to get your left hip up. So you don't want to slide forwards with your hips level, because that would be your whole body going through. So you want your hip sliding through, left hip coming up high as you feel like it's going forwards. Now you will have rotation. I'm not saying make swings where you don't have any hip rotation. You're going to get that because you've got ample there already. I want you just to feel like you're sliding across with your left hip coming up, just to try and get that club path moving a bit more through the ball rather than this level hipped rotated action, which is always going to move you this way across the ball. So just simply left hip as you come into impact, try and get it high. So if you think about, if I start my swing, left hip a fractionally higher than right, backswing left hip goes down, then impact I want my left hip higher than my right again. So left hip goes down on the backswing and then left hip comes up on the way through. So I want my hips going across and left hip up. That'll take care of some rotation as well. You'll find your path becomes considerably better. That path becomes better. I think you'll find you'll hit some more solid shots. Thanks for sending the swing. So this swing we see quite a neat, very nice setup. I'm just going to draw a line down from your shoulders, which we see your hands and arms fall within. Very neat. As you pull the club back, we too tend to see your hands want to move very much away from your body. Your body is turning around, so your body is turning quite nicely these kind of directions around this way, but your hands want to push quite aggressively out and up kind of over on this path. So we need to try and get your hands and arms feeling a little bit more connected. Then we won't get such a high hand position at the top, and then such a steep hand angle on the way down. I mean, your hands are pulling down at it's very blurry in the light here, but a very steep angle, which is going to make collision of your ball very hard to control. So let's get that backswing a little bit more connected, which will hopefully help you get a little bit more of a connected follow through. So we're seeing quite a disjointed hands and body action, aren't we? Kind of here, hands just want to push out as your body turns, so your body's rotating this way, hands want to push out and go up above you. You need to make a lot more swings, trying to feel that your arms are turning more kind of around your body, so coming behind you. Simplest way to try and do this that I get for students is just visualizing trying to get your hands to get over your right shoulder. So if you imagine now my right shoulder's here and it's going to rotate further back, so it's going to go from here to say here, then my hands start in front of me, so I need to bring my hands back with me. I want to try and get my hands over my right shoulder at the top of my backswing, rather than your hands running away from your right shoulder and then somehow getting near it as you try and yank it back at the top. Simple thought. You can do it without the club, you can do it at home in front of a reflection I've got here or a mirror. Just hands over the right shoulder and feel the direction of them coming back a bit more with your body turn, and for you it's going to feel like they're coming back much more closer to your body
just try and get that a bit more connected backswing, which hopefully will help you get not such a steep pull down on the downswing, and in turn a few more solid strikes and a few more straighter shots. So Greg sent a question through the app here. Mark, could you do a video on the correct stance and ball position for wedges? I get mine ballooning up too high. Thanks, Greg. Interesting question, Greg. Now look, there's no real correct ball position for a wedge. It's subject to so many factors. There are some general guidelines. If I'm playing, this is a 52-degree wedge. Let's pretend this is a 56, makes no difference. If I'm playing a stock standard shot with a 56, just try and hit it a 80% distance, if you like, I'd put it in the middle of my stance and off it goes, and goes at the height I want it to go at. Now, if I go and play my wedge from the same position, but when I hit the ball I have more shaft lean, so I have my hands further forward than the head, which could be encouraged by moving weight, it could be done just simply by pulling my arms further forward, that ball goes lower, same ball position. Then vice versa, if I put the ball forward in my stance, feel like I make my regular swing, I do tend to get it going up more, but I could keep that down as well by moving weight. So the ball position is having a very small influence on the height. I make it have an influence because my swing is relatively kind of textbook. So if I put the ball in the right position, I deliver X amount of shaft lean. If I put it forward, I deliver less, which means more loft. And if I put it back, I deliver more shaft lean, less loft, and it keeps it down. But for lots of golfers, they often override their ball position, put it in a place, they've got this desire to balloon it. So even though you don't want to balloon it, you've obviously got this kind of something in you that makes you feel that's the right way to hit it. Doesn't matter where you put the ball. I can put the ball opposite my right foot, but if I deliver no shaft lean, hands forward, I deliver plenty of loft and the ball will go higher than if I delivered more shaft lean, subject to centered strikes. So have a look at your ball position. Center to back is always good as a general rule with wedges, but you've got lots of modern techniques now, people standing ball forward, left foot open, just trying to kind of use the bounce, as people say, which work also. I would say maybe shoot a few videos and see. I mean, it's going to be hard with video, but have a look what's happening to your shaft lean at impact. Are you leaning forwards? Are you leaning back? Or get to someone where, I say this a lot, I know, but get to someone with a launch on. I can measure my launch angle, I can measure my dynamic loft, I can then change my ball position and move those numbers into the correct position. I can change the swing thought to move dynamic loft, launch angle into the right position to make sure I don't get the ball ballooning. As a general rule, middle to moving slightly backwards, I would generally do. Certainly as I want to hit the ball harder, I tend to move it back to try and hit down, de-loft and get it going forward rather than so up. But I mean, I've hit my wedges a million different ways. Anyone who's giving you the answer to that question, in my opinion, is not really giving you the answer. It might help you for a minute, but it won't last forever. Just go and see someone and get your angles measured, and you'll find out what angles you're delivering to get that ball ballooning, and then work on fixing those. Fix those issues, not just guessing around. Maybe it's ball position. Like I say, most people can override ball position with the way they deliver hands, club, shaft leans, open faces, closed face. They can manipulate the angles to get the launch they think they should get over ball position. Hope that helps. Thanks for the question. Post comments down below. I'd love to hear what you think of that. Has it answered your question or not? I know I kind of danced around it a bit, but I'd love to hear. And we'll speak to you all soon.
So, not a bad posture here. Backswing's relatively neat. It's not the best picture in the world, which we often get through the phones, but to try and give you some ideas, look at this club face here. I want to try and get this club face in a very different position. It suggests to me that your grip is not so good because your left wrist doesn't look too kind of cupped. I mean, it could be a little flatter, but it's fine. It's certainly not the worst I've seen. We want to get the club face kind of more parallel to the left arm, even flatter than the left arm ideally for some players. What we see with the open face as you start bringing the downswing or into the ball, club face as you hit this ball points, which to me looks left, so close to target, but very open to the path of the club, so very much right of the direction of the club. So this is very kind of rudimentary drawing lines here, but if the path is there, the face is right of that path, and let's call target for this instance there. So the ball's going to start left, curve to the right. We need to get your face trying to marry a path that maybe wants to push more to the right, which is never going to happen with the way you're using the face there. So let's give you a little bit of an idea of how to control that club face.
So we're seeing that face get to the top of the backswing where in relationship to my hand it's twisted this way. So if I was to make a swing with the club starting, say, 15 degrees, pointing right of the target and make a swing, when I get to the top, my club would also be here, pointing more down at the ground, not so much kind of parallel with the left arm a lot more. So we want this leading the edge more parallel with the left arm rather than this. Now for lots of people that's a rotation in their wrist, forearm and wrist turns, which then in turn rotates the face, but for you it doesn't look so much. I would watch some grip videos, probably left hand, could be both, but you're probably going to see not enough knuckles, so not enough twist on the left hand, which means then I can get to the top of my backswing with a relatively flat left arm to left hand position, but still have the face pointing somewhere down at the ground. Grip, grip, grip. As soon as if I was to make a backswing where I get to the top of my backswing and the face is pointing down at the ground, to me it just feels like I want to swing way, way left. Try and get that face to point left, because then my pass can be further left of it. Start the ball up the left and find target by curving it back. It's kind of always this rescue kind of mission to not deliver the face pointing right of target, which is where it's going to start. And obviously if your face is pointing right at target and you'll say swinging straight, it's going to curve even further right at target. So a bit of face control. Definitely watch some grip videos. Good 3 knuckles on the left hand I like to see, and then top of your backswing you can watch in reflections, trying to get that club face more parallel with the left arm, so leading edge more parallel with the left arm. It's just a great reference point to help you try and hit some straighter shots and get that path a little bit more on the money on the way down. Thanks for sending.
So always like to include a junior swing if I can. Very good swing here, very energetic. I think you've heard me say this a lot, anyone who watches the show a lot. We see a lot of thrusting forwards here with pelvis, lower back, hips, going this way. Always a product of someone using a man's driver, does that look like? I think lots of juniors want to do it. When the club gets too long, arguably sometimes too heavy, what happens is you have to use these aggressive thrusts to try and keep the momentum of the club going. You can't stay in any kind of posture angles, and look at the setup, it makes you stand up quite upright. Now, trying to get you to use a different club I think is a waste of time, because juniors like to use longer clubs. I understand that. You would just want to try and work on maybe not thrusting so aggressively through impact. We are on takeoff with the right foot. The back is completely arching over, lower back's kind of going into a minus thrusted number, you're probably bending back, and hips have gone way too far forward. Let's see if we can just get you trying to turn to a little calmer, just to calm down as we call those junior hips.
So more junior hip thrusts. I don't think I could say this enough. Like I say, I like to include the juniors into the weekly fix as much as possible. We don't get enough swings sent through the apps from them, and you know, let's get more kids playing in this game. It's certainly not growing at the pace as we'd want to at the moment. But look, very common issue. We see kids, as I say, got long driver, arguably a bit heavy for him. He's using every kind of movement to try and get some momentum going on the end of that club. Really be worth trying to hit a few shots where you feel a lot more connected to the ground. So when you hit the ball, it's nice for your right foot to be peeling off, turning onto your left side like you're doing, but for you what we're seeing is your left foot's literally like in takeoff because you thrusted your hips so far forward. So hit a few shots where, just to start you off, use a medium iron, keep your arms swinging relatively fast, so feel like you're swinging your arms nice and quick, and just feel both feet connected to the ground and just pulling off, and then ease that into more of a gradual movement. Now I'm not saying I want you to hit the ball with your feet flat on the ground, I don't. I'd like to see that right foot coming up. I would just like you to calm the amount you're doing down a little bit, try and get rid of this thrust. So again, just bleed that into a flat-footed hit. It's where you feel like your bum's staying back, you've got a little bit of hip rotation, certainly a bit of hip drive, then pulling up afterwards. And then bleed that into a fuller shot where you feel that you are coming off your right foot, but you're only just coming off your right foot. It's not quite as aggressive, and you are trying to maintain some of these angles through impact, get a little bit side bend with your upper body rather than this kind of forward thrust that we see, which gets juniors in a lot of trouble. As they start getting bigger and the action stays in, it's very hard to get that out sometimes. Thanks for sending the video.
Okay, great setup here for someone who wants to hit a cut shot as a general rule. Now I don't know what shot you're hitting here, but I see this a lot from golfers who are setting up kind of spine angles almost this way, and hips are often far too far back, which in turn often from the other angle means the hips are actually open, so pointing for you to the right as a left-handed golfer. So we need to get your setup in a much stronger way to try and not hit maybe the slightly cutty shot that it looks a little bit like I think you might struggle with. Obviously I can't tell that so much from that action, from this angle, but I would put some money on that you are probably struggling with a pull to slight cut shot. Path's definitely going to be moving to the right, so out to in for you as a left-handed golfer, but you are set up to cut. Let's see if we can get you set up to hit some straight shots.
Right guys, I love this one. I always think this one is such a common one, and if you're doing this problem, you're kind of not entering the competition, you're going to struggle with your shot. So we see the classic setup. So if we take the golf club away for a second, we see a classic setup where we see basically here, this is an exaggeration on a theme, so hips rotate open, which then turn look like they go back, sometimes do, but on a 2D screen they'll look like they've gone back. Upper body then looks like it's gone forwards, so spine's leaning forwards. Now think about this, look, if I stand here, forget golf, hands just down by my side, and literally if I just drop one hand lower than the other, so no golf setup, so I'm just dropping my right hand lower than the other, what happens is my hips naturally just push slightly towards forwards where the target would be. My upper body just slightly tilts back, and I have this slight lean in my spine, so spine axis tilt, and I have this lean in my shoulders, purely because I've gone and put one hand lower than the other, and that's something you need to be doing on the golf club, is just putting that hand lower than the other and letting everything just fall into place. You're putting one hand lower than the other and then turning yourself into quite an awkward position to then try and hit the ball. And it's great if you want to hit massively across the ball often. And like I say in the video, I can't see if you are or not. You can do anything from this setup, but commonly it's that you're hitting across. So you're going one hand lower than the other, which should get you tilting this way, but then you're opening everything up and leaning forwards to hit it, which is always going to encourage these kind of steeper actions. So look, I used to do this as a player when I was competing. It worked really well. Hold on with your left hand, take your setup. I've literally got my right hand by my right pocket. And then when you're ready to go, just introduce your right hand from around your right leg. And as you introduce it, let everything move into place, because as that right hand drops down to come on the club, right shoulder should drop down, hip should drop forward, give you that little bit of tilt, then go and try and put into a shot. Hope that helps. Thanks for posting the video, sending it through the app. Thanks for buying the app, everyone. Hope that helps. Anyone who's watching any of my social posts at the moment, I've got a new app out that relates to asking questions, so if you want to take part in that one, there'll be links as well in the description below. Got two apps. There's two YouTube channels. There's this one, and there's also a Q&A channel. So there's now two apps, one for this one for the Q&A channel. Just allows you to order all the content a bit more rather than trawling through YouTube, trying to find each kind of video amongst all the others. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the videos, and we'll speak to you all soon. What's going on here? Don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Also thumbs up the video, post comments. Love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show. Get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.